In this video, we will explore a feature of Continuity Engine known as auto-recloning. So what is auto-recloning? Simply put, auto-recloning allows you to recreate your passive nodes, whether it's a secondary or tertiary, for the purposes of security patches and major application updates, or even fixing a broken cluster where you have maybe one of the passive nodes is corrupted. So what we're going to do is I'm going to log in to the engine management service. What we're going to do is we're going to reclone one of our pair configurations. In this case, it'll be a local HA. Now keep in mind that with auto recloning, you can do both manually initiated and scheduled recloning processes. So you can wrap this around your monthly patching schedule, or if you're doing a major application update, you can run this manually. When you do the auto recloning process, it does a couple things. One, it provides you with a full cluster reclone, typically for these, as we mentioned, the major application patching. It provides you with a partial cluster restoration in case you have a corrupted node, and allows the passive nodes to be also put onto an alternate host and data store. And it is integrated into vCenter, so you can do both P2V and V2V automatically using Continuity Engine. It also supports manual cloning, or what we call assisted cloning. So let's take a look at the process. So off of the Actions menu, you will find there is an option for reclone secondary and tertiary. And as you bring the menu up, there are two different main options. There is the automatic full cloning process, and there is a manual cloning process. So if you select automatic, if you have a vCenter environment and your engine management service is connected to that vCenter, you can create and power on the DR copy of the virtual machine after it's been cloned, or you can create a temporary offline copy after it's been cloned so that you can transmit it to a different location if you need to. So there's a couple different options under select nodes to be cloned. And in this case, you can do a full cluster reclone process. If this is a tertiary deployment, you can do a partial or a full restoration of the entire cluster. So why would we want to do this? Well, there are times when maybe you, for some reason, one of the passive nodes may have become corrupted for some reason. So you can actually select a partial cluster reclone to fix the broken node that has been corrupted. So in this case, as part of this video, we are going to do a full cluster reclone. And then it gives you a couple different options here. So you can reclone to the current location, and it does not delete the secondary. So it'll just power off the secondary and leave it as is, and it will create a new one for you. Or what we can do is reclone to the current location, but delete the secondary after it's been powered on. Or we can actually create one to a completely different location. So if we go to a different location, notice that it asks you for the new host and data store. So we can select a different host, different data store, and then you can proceed. But yet, what you may want to do is you may just want to hold it in place. So you want to just reclone to the current location and maybe delete the secondary. Now you would want to do this if maybe it's a scheduled process. So if you want to schedule it every month or every 2 weeks or whatever it may be, you can just reclone to the current location and it'll delete the secondary after the new one is powered up. So we're going to use that as our option here. And then it allows you to confirm the configuration. And then we're going to hit the finish button. And notice at the bottom, a reclone process has started. And at the top, you will see the operation in progress. And of course, under the plan execution, it begins stopping Continuity Engine on the production server and preparing it for clone operations. Now, if I click into the operations in progress, you will see that Continuity Engine is beginning its shutdown process and it's reconfiguring itself to extend the cluster. Now we're waiting for the cluster to become active. It is now preparing the original secondary to be recloned. And now it's beginning its reclone process. So it is actually cloning from the primary to the secondary. Now we can actually go into vCenter and we can actually see this happening. So notice here that a new VM is being created. Now keep in mind, if you've deployed Continuity Engine using the automated process, then when you run the auto-recloning process, it will take the existing host and data store that was put into the original deployment wizard, it persists that into Continuity Engine, and then uses that moving forward. It's also good to note that during the recloning process, remember that Continuity Engine is using the vCenter APIs. So once we begin this process, we basically turn over that cloning operation to vCenter. So it may take a little while for the vCenter to do this cloning process. This is not under the control of Continuity Engine. So little patience has to be exercised during this process, but it's no different than if a VM administrator did a hot clone of that server themselves. So we're about done with the cloning process, and now Continuity Engine is powering up the brand new secondary. And now we have to wait for the reconfiguration process to happen. Also notice too that the old secondary is powered off. And once the reconfiguration process is completed, you will see this disappear from vCenter. Okay, as we can see, the old secondary has been deleted. And if we go to here, the plan execution is bringing the secondary online and restoring the cluster configuration. And there you have it, a full cluster reconfiguration of Continuity Engine. This concludes our demo of auto-recloning.